shot like Blake Griffin, rebound like Andre. The king of the Pistons, bound to outplay like Irvin, murdering ankles. Break off at an angle, throw from Mass Staff and fly like I'm an angel. Traded to the Bengals, mangled like Hayward. Quick like IT to flee from the haters. Ebron the TE up in the DT like Big LeBron. Ballin' on the TV, bricks from the big three up in OKC. Dunk like I'm Russ, miss like I'm Stevie. Ruthless like Rothless, eyes looking steely. Heart like a Spartan, juke like I'm Levi. Step like Nadamu, then I got Sue. But fuck that, we won, so I'm better than you. I love to hear boo, so I know I'm doing it right. Straight off the Henny like JR, I might just bite like Mike Tyson, fight like Ray Rice. So please watch it, Tony, you might just then like the juice's old wife. So move a bad screen, turn blue and not scream. I'm the best there's been and the best there will be. You are now watching DST Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of DST Podcast with Brett and JT. Now, we have some interesting things I'm going to be diving into today, but let me start with this. My 3 golden rules for my podcast. So 1, I never talk about politics. It's the most worthless thing that could ever be discussed by any show host and just honestly people in general, because you hear enough of it every day in your life. Literally, most Americans just watch the news all day and have no life. It just divides people and makes them angry. When you listen to a podcast or just, a sports talk show, a lot of them sometimes dive into politics, and it honestly is so boring. I want to change the station or the channel every time I hear it on ESPN or any, radio station. It literally drives me insane. So you'll never be hearing that on here. Number 2, the problem with scripting a podcast or just a show in general. So if you fully script your podcast or your shows, let's start with this. Let me give you 2 hosts. They run completely different formats, but they have pros and cons to each. So you have Colin Cowherd from The Herd, which is over on Fox Radio. And then you have Mike Valeni, who is the host of Southfield's 97.1. Now, Valeni basically uses the style of rolling with an opinion off script and using his emotions and brain to formulate the opinion, while mostly just having, facts to back it up with that he does in show prep. While Colin Cowherd, on the other hand, he mostly sticks to a script. Now, I really do enjoy Colin Cowherd for sticking to the script because it actually is a really unique perspective. You're able to formulate a really pinpoint opinion, and you're able to lay everything out, which makes it really easy to follow. But while I do like both of them, I don't ever really plan on rolling with a full script or no script at all. I do, as of right now, make a full script every time I make a podcast. I have a full script, but I always deviate from it because I feel like that's just the easiest way to give my emotion and still stick with, where I need to be going. And then rule number 3, I'll never over discuss a topic on this podcast. If you ever listen to ESPN for any length of time, their stories almost seem to run together every single day. Let me give you an example. Cavs lose 3 games in a row. What's wrong with the Cavs? Cavs win 3 games in a row. Are the Cavs the team to beat in the East? Come on, ESPN. That is something I hear. Like, Cavs are on a 3-game winning streak right now. That's literally all I've been hearing from them nonstop is how great the Cavs are. When just a week ago, or no, how about we don't even talk about a week ago? 2 months ago, when they had won, what, 14 in a row, 14 out of 15 or something, they were talking about how that team was so great and they could beat the Golden State Warriors. Well, fast forward to, February 15th, and none of those guys are really on the team anymore. So guess what? Obviously, they weren't that great. So why don't we just pump the brakes on it a little bit, and maybe you guys could come up with some better stories, since a 19-year-old that does a podcast in his own room appears to come up with better stories than you. Now, speaking of better stories, the topic that we're going to be diving into today is actually one that I've been wanting to do for a while now. And the more and more I hear about him getting ready to make his comeback, the more and more excited I get. So let's do this. Let me take you back to 2014. outspoken Texas A&M quarterback Johnny Manziel is drafted 22nd overall by the Cleveland Browns. After spending 2 seasons with the Browns, having multiple off-field issues, he was released. Now, we all know the QB who partied way more than he played, who seemed to have his priorities in another world, was often found missing practice, being late, just being absent. Many people hated him for this. They thought he was just this rich, cocky white boy whose parents bought him everything, and he was spoiled from the beginning. And while I do agree that he was really cocky, that was actually something I enjoyed about him. When he was making his way to the NFL draft, and he dared, what was it? I think it was the Texans. He dared the Texans to draft him. The kid obviously has a bit of an ego, but that's fun to see in the NFL. Nothing gets me more excited than watching a guy that says, I can beat you, basically try to go out there and try to beat you, and he'll say it right to your face. He'll say, I'll beat you. And the kid throws up the money signs. Everything about him is just really exciting to watch. That's why I actually enjoy him and Baker Mayfield so much. I think they're two of the most exciting personalities you could ever want on the NFL, and I'm so excited to watch Baker Mayfield next season. But things, well, as you all know, they didn't go that well for Johnny. After being released by the Browns, he didn't really seem to even care, still partying, drugs, being gone for days at a time. No one knew where he was, police arresting him going to jail. And then something comes out from his father that, honestly, it got to me really hard, and I was heartbroken reading this. This is a quote from Johnny Manziel's own father. His father says, "My son won't live to see his 24th birthday, and it breaks my heart." Now, I just want to let that sink in for just a moment. Imagine hearing your father say that about you. The kid has been through hell, no doubt. No one believed he would ever stop doing drugs. I didn't believe it. Stop the partying, the recklessness that followed him wherever he went. But here we are, 2018. A quote directly from Johnny's Instagram. "All the criticism I've received has been well-deserved. I was 21 years old and acting like an irresponsible, spoiled kid. I only cared about what I wanted. I didn't give a fuck about anyone else." That's huge to hear from Johnny Manziel, all right? You got to give the kid some credit. He's acknowledging his mistakes. This NFL season, he's making his comeback. I don't know if he'll ever make it to a team, but he's starting to play he'll be on the spring league this year, where he'll have the chance to be viewed by NFL scouts. This kid obviously has realized his mistakes, and if anyone is going to give him a second chance, I would love to see it. The kid had so much potential coming out of college. He was the most electrifying college athlete of all time, in my opinion, and I root for the kid. Along the way, along the way, he had so many bumps, but I never lost vision of what he wanted to be, and I thought he lost the vision for himself, and I'm so excited to see him try and make this comeback. And of course, when he was doing the drugs and all that, and he was partying, showing up late for practices, yeah, I grown disgusted for him as well, just like everyone else did, but it never meant I wanted the guy to actually fail in life. He's exactly what I love in the NFL, a guy who creates storylines. He's willing to bet on himself, the cockiness, the trash talking. Him and Baker Mayfield draw so many similarities. And while I have no idea if he'll ever make it back to the NFL, I'll be enjoying every moment of him going toe-to-toe with the critics and trying to prove them wrong every step of the way. And it starts with the spring season. So, Johnny, here's to a hell of a spring season, and I hope to see you back in the NFL, man. Thanks for joining me on another episode of DST Podcast. Until next time, guys.
Never saw a lance pointing my way, so why have I been freaking? Why have I been seeking answers like a deacon? The answer need a beacon to guide me down the path where success and I am meeting, about to feel my wrath. My sanity, I'm keeping.